On today's show, Volvo adds more electric to everything, MG Motors reveals its station wagon, the 5 Electric, and some Tesla news that is sure to excite. First up, Savid Motorcycles has confirmed that they will be making motorcycles in its Melbourne factory starting next year. This follows confirmation of a deal of $657,000 co-investment funding from the federal government's Advanced Manufacturing Growth Centre. The grant, which completes a successful $1.83 million capital raise venture, will ensure that at least the first 20 bikes will be delivered to customers by the end of 2022. This is great news indeed, and something that many motorcycle fans will be wanting to see on our roads in Victoria very soon. The guys at Savic Motors have actually been documenting the journey of creating Australia's first custom-built cafe racer motorbike, and this thing will be able to hit 100 km per hour in just 3.5 seconds with thanks to that 25 kilowatt motor. And that design with its chunky, non-apologetic battery sitting in the frame has been described by Savic as a lean machine that costs 80% less to run than conventional motorbikes, and that their bikes will be capable of doing from 120 to 200 kilometers on one charge. Lean? Maybe not with that width, but nonetheless it's exciting to see them. They've got the green light to go ahead. Now we've just got to get out of these COVID restrictions. Yeah. Just a quick update on my High Court challenge of Victoria's world's worst EV tax. Look, thank you so much. More than 500 people have contributed more than $40,000 to my legal fund, which myself and Kath Davies, who's representing the plug-in hybrid owners, will be needing to help fight this case in the High Court to get rid of this world's worst EV tax. I said that twice, but I really do mean it. It's the wrong thing to be doing at the wrong time. It's just wrong on so many levels. So if you can support, great, thank you so much. If you have already, again, big thank you. And if you need to, please go check out the story up here on what exactly it is, why it is, and why it needs to go. And please do share this with your friends, because this is only something that's not only going to be affecting Victorians, but all Australians and possibly everyone around the world. This is something that other countries are looking at, going, gee, I wonder if we can tax people too for cleaning the air that we all breathe. Yeah, not good policy at all. Volvo Cars started production of the fully electric C40 Recharge late last week at its manufacturing plant in Ghent, Belgium. The C40 Recharge is Volvo Cars' second fully electric car, and is the latest in a series of new pure electric cars to be launched in the coming years. By 2030, Volvo Cars aims to sell only fully electric ones and aims to be climate neutral by 2040. The Ghent plant, one of the company's largest, is what they're calling a trailblazer site, and they're going to be moving out and getting all that stuff in the factory fully electrified for that electric fleet that they're going with. My gosh, so many electric terms today, but you get the idea. Taiwanese electronics manufacturer Foxconn has entered into an agreement with American EV maker Lordstown Motors to acquire the majority of the company's 6.2 million square foot production assembly plant in Lordstown, Ohio. Now, the name Foxconn rings a bell because, well, they're the very same company who makes iPhones for Apple. And so it makes sense that something electric, like an electric vehicle, actually is something that go into. Yeah, it's electronic, so why not? The deal is worth around $230 million or 310 million Australian, and will see it manufacture the Lordstown Motor Endurance Electric Ute at the plant. I think this is a great move because you may be aware that Lordstown Motors recently lost both its CEO Steve Burns and CFO Julio Rodriguez following revelations that they were actually potentially not able to afford to do what they said they were going to do. Yikes, but I guess with a massive company like Foxconn coming to the party, this is yet another electric vehicle maker, and perhaps this funding is now secure. Hopefully we'll see more from them instead of just like demonstration and proof of concept vehicles, and yeah, bring it on. Okay, apologies, but it's going to be another 2 stories about Volvo because, well, they seem to be getting busy with electrifying everything. First up, they've received an order of 100 Volvo FM electric trucks for Northern Europe's largest shipping and logistics company, DFDS. Its biggest ever electric order. And the important headline here is that these electric trucks have actually been in production and are on roads in Europe since early this year. And that makes me want to say, Tesla, come on, pull your finger out, get the Tesla semi-truck out and about, because car makers, legacy car makers, are beating you to the punch with things like this. And that groundswell, that motivation for delivery companies to get into electric is happening now. And I think the sooner they put their foot in the market, the better. Super important, that really is. Anyhow, the Volvo FM electric truck can carry a weight of 44 tons, that's like gross combination weight, and has a range of up to 300 kilometers. With a top-up charging session during lunch saying that distance could easily be extended. Now, sticking with Volvo, and I do promise this is the last one for today's episode, they've announced that 3 new models in their industrial section. You've got the L20, an electric compact wheel loader, the EC18 and ECR18 electric compact excavators. I think we'd all like to see work sites go electric. Like, could you imagine? No noisy diesel engine running, toxic fumes, and basically machines that do everything better. It is better, isn't it? It's cleaner, it's greener, it's more silent, it's more comfortable. Oh, just so many, there's some terms, just by electrifying it. Good job, Volvo, and okay, that's them done. On Friday last week, I brought you news how MG has updated the MG ZS EV, unveiled a great looking car called the Marvel R, and also an additional one that I barely touched on because, well, that show was getting a little bit too long for my liking. And before I do get into the last bit around that new car, the 5 we'll call it, because it is called the 5, quick correction. Baden Holly, a subscriber of this channel, noted that the MG ZS EV does have an 11 kilowatt onboard charger for the long range variety. So thank you for that, correction noted. And with thanks to one of my patrons, Scott McGregor, hey Scott, the ZS EV can actually do vehicle to load. So you can connect external devices, electric barbecue, cooling box, maybe charge up your electric bike, you name it. Power your laptop for extended sessions. Yeah, absolutely. This is brilliant news, and it just makes you wonder. It's making me wonder how Ioniq, Ioniq is a brand now, but Hyundai, let's face it, they're the parent company here. How Hyundai with the Ioniq 5 is pricing that car. You know, that's basically a small SUV. Think Model Y, think Polestar 2, and now MG ZS EV. These are all better priced, better spec'd, and yeah, I get looks and all, but mate, Hyundai, you really have to sharpen your pencil on that price, because as great as that vehicle is and reviews have been glowing, people just won't buy them if your price is way too high. So bring it down. Thanks. Alright, I got a bit off topic there. So look, after those oversights and corrections, I promised to share with you the final vehicle that was unveiled on Friday. And this one I reckon is definitely firmly for the UK market. It's a station wagon. And why I say that is because, well, realistically, in Australia, I doubt that we're seeing any new station wagons on our roads since the 1990s. Honest to goodness, we all shifted to SUVs, and cars have just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger ever since. So as much as I'm going to be saying everything now and the specs all around it, just know that one, there's no Australian announcement. Two, I really do think we'd never ever see this on our roads. So yeah, here goes. The new MG5 Electric is the world's first and perhaps last all-electric station wagon with 479 litres of luggage space that can easily be expanded to more than 1400 litres with the rear seats folded down. The MG5 is just like the ZS and Marvel are in that it will offer the MG Smart connectivity system. That means that your smartphone can actually do different functions such as start and stop your charge session, change your climate, and other sort of stuff that will be really welcome on the current ZS EVs. Hi MG, if you want to do that, that'd be great. Power is very respectable, 115 kilowatts and 260 newton meters of torque, and that should be zippy enough for most drivers. The MG5 Electric will initially be offered in the UK with a 61.1 kilowatt hour battery, range of around 400 kilometers, and at a later stage, a version with a 50.3 kilowatt hour battery will be offered as well, and that should provide a range of about 320 kilometers. Both battery versions of the all-electric station wagon will offer quick charging capability due to its 11 kilowatt 3-phase onboard charger. The MG5 Electric will be available in the first quarter of 2022, and look, I've left a link down below, so if you want to check this out plus all the other stories I've spoken about on today's show, please do go check them out. Alrighty, before I get into my final bits of news around Tesla and their big announcements of late, I just want to say a quick thank you to you guys for watching to now and subscribing. If you haven't, do. I know you. About 5% of the viewers on here are regular viewers, and you're not subscribed. Yeah, come on, you can do it. Let's hit 10,000 by the end of the year, shall we? That'd be awesome. Nonetheless, I also want to say, guys, girls, if you want to see more content like this more often behind the scenes, like my patrons got to saw this last week, over half a dozen or 7 or 8, I can't remember how many, stories that you guys just didn't see. So if you want to help support the channel and keep me going, that'd be really appreciated, and you can do so over on Patreon, where from as little as $2.50 per month, that's like 60 cents per week, you get all this and a lot more. And a big thank you to my producers, Adam Tyson, Alan Byrne, Ashley Hill, Bruce Hall, he's a new producer, thanks for joining me, Bruce, Chaotic Media Technology, David Lanham, MN ICT Specialist, Nigel Farrier, and Tessa Nagong. Okay, my final stories today concern Tesla and the recent achievements in production numbers, confirmation of a headquarter change, and a surprise that we all hoped would happen. First, and something I don't normally do on this show, and that's delivery numbers, because they are through the roof. In the third quarter of 2021, Tesla, try to say it quickly, Chris. Tesla produced approximately 238,000 vehicles and delivered over 240,000 vehicles. That's like 20,000 more than anticipated by most analysis. But year on year, this is where the big story's at. They produced just over 145,000 vehicles and delivered nearly 140,000 at the same time last year. That's like a 1.7 times growth during a pandemic with a global chip shortage and supply chain problems. Very impressive, Tesla, well done indeed. Next is news that we all saw coming, and that was that Elon announcing that Tesla will move its headquarters out of Palo Alto, California to Austin, Texas. The response was met with loud cheers and applause, and I've left a link to the actual stockholder meeting that Tesla's put out. And I guess that's because, one, I think it's a very good financial decision, and two, it actually enables Tesla to do more. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. On the financials, Tesla was actually very much incentivized to move to Texas, which is why they're building the Giga Texas. Also, it was noted in the press of late, how California actually has some very high taxes which discourage growth. And we do know also that Tesla last year, during the height of the pandemic in America, was forced to close the site for 2 years. So recalling those numbers before, sure, they were down, considerably down compared to this year, but nonetheless, you have to recall also, especially for Australia, that we get our cars from Shanghai Giga. So nonetheless, I think, financially, some good little carrot waving stuff here. But, I think the main reason that Tesla has done this is that, well, for them, they need the space at the Fremont factory. And Elon has reassured California that they'll actually continue to expand activities there by 50%. In his own words, if you go to our Fremont factory, it is jammed. It is like, wow. When we first were in there, it was like we were like a kid in their parents' shoes. Now we're like spam in a can. How do we put more stuff? I love Elon and his fresh approach to leadership and stewardship and direction, and it's quite entertaining, this video, and he actually takes up a good chunk of that hour and a half, well actually about 45 minutes of it, but nonetheless, do watch it, it's well worth your time. And I guess many viewers out there who particularly followed Tesla very carefully will know that Elon actually did move to Texas recently, I believe because of tax breaks, but also it's got the factory that they're building there, and also it's close to Star, what do you call them, SpaceX, where they take off from, sort of thing. It's close. It's not that close, Chris, but it's close. During the meeting, Musk also mentioned that one of the reasons Tesla is changing its headquarters from California to Texas is due to housing affordability, saying that a lot of people have to come in from far away, and they were taking it as far as possible, but there's a limit on how big in scale you can go in the Bay Area. And with that, like a greenfield site that is Texas Giga, it just makes sense. A state government over there that's very supportive with tax breaks and the like, but weirdly, and I guess this is going to be the next thing on the agenda for Tesla, is that Tesla cannot sell in Texas direct to public like they do in most parts of the United States and for the world for that matter. Car dealerships had a big hand in that one, and I mentioned that part of the deal that's probably happening behind the scenes that will happen later on downstream will be that Texas announced that if you live in that state, you can indeed order online and get your car directly from Tesla. That's not for today's video, no. All right, and the final bit of news, and one that I was really hoping for, and I talked about it I think a few weeks ago, was that Elon Musk has confirmed that the Cyberquad bike is gonna be a thing. In the stockholder meeting, Elon confirmed that we will definitely be making the Cybertruck at Austin, Texas, and so probably the ATV too. The ATV is an interesting design challenge because ATVs are pretty dangerous, and we want to make an ATV that is at least as the least dangerous ATV as possible. He then noted that it will have a very low center of gravity because the battery pack is going to be down low, and that some things like suspension will make it really hard to roll. And this is something that's very important to Tesla. So I'm going to basically read into that and say, yeah, it's absolutely going to happen. And I think he concluded the meeting, I'm paraphrasing here, that if you get a Cybertruck, you've got to get one of these too. So great news, awesome news, fantastic. I look forward to seeing them, right? When? We still don't have the Model Y, which by today's date means that it's slipped into 2022, folks. So I've lost my bet. Let's see how wrong I'm going to be. Sad times indeed. All right, definitely a long enough show, and if you've watched to this point, my gosh, thank you, really do appreciate it. If you enjoy this sort of content, subscribe, it's absolutely free. Support me on Patreon because, well, that'd be awesome too. But otherwise, please be good and be green.